Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. Well, I want to get into this story about Christian Amaselli, who was unfortunately stabbed by his girlfriend, Courtney Clenny. And what I want to touch on, these tweets that he tweeted out and the type of behavior of people who have self-hatred, who choose to get into these interracial unions. Now, before I go on, I just want you to get a listen to this particular story by Justin Carter about these tweets.
Up until April 4th, which was one day after Obumseli's death. It is unclear if the post was pre-scheduled. Like many domestic crimes involving interracial couples, the subject of race has become a part of the public's conversation about this case, with a past podcast interview from Clenny and an old social media post from Obumseli. Many people are questioning this entire situation.
You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date black guys. Especially black guys. Especially black guys. Let me clarify. I only date rich black guys.
Rich black guys. There we go.
In a series of tweets from Christian, posted roughly 10 years ago, it spoke of his seeming disdain of black women and his preference for white women. One tweet read, quote, "Can't believe one of my friends thinks I talk to black girls when I don't." Another tweet quoting one of his friends who said, "Black girls are born knowing how to shake they expletive." Obumseli's response, quote, "Honestly, I don't care. They not my type." There are tweets out there, Jessica, that suggest that Toby didn't like black women. What is your reaction? What is your response to these tweets?
He was 17 years old. He was a high school kid. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who was young was just saying senseless things and not thinking anything of it. I just think that his preference, his dating preference, are white women. I'm just going to say that I never knew that he tweeted those things back then. But that doesn't, mean that he should die or be murdered.
Okay, so you heard that video. Now, I want to go over this video again and pause and give a commentary to what I feel is pertinent. And I'm redoing this because I do not want to leave out things. So let's start.
Yeah, the guest that was recording tagged Miami police up until April 4th, which was one day after Obumseli's death. It is unclear if the post was pre-scheduled. Like many domestic crimes involving interracial couples, the subject of race has become a part of the public's conversation about this case, with a past podcast interview from Clenny and an old social media post from Obumseli. Many people are questioning this entire situation.
You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date black guys.
Now, see that? She stated that she only dates black guys. Now, that goes right into the face that so many of these unions claim love is love, or you can't help who you fall in love with. So basically, she's avoiding white, Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Indian, and she only dates black guys. So basically, it's a stipulation, and she's controlling who she falls in love with. So all this junk about love is love is just that. It's a fairy tale. It's poppycock. You can very much control who you are attracted to and who you choose to fall in love with.
Especially black guys. Especially black guys.
By the way, that to me is a toxic trait in a way, because she's basically stating to black guys that I do not like my own. And you can reverse that to any black guy or black person who has a thing for someone other than black. They're basically stating that I don't like my own. Well, if you don't love yourself, how in the hell can you love another?
Let me clarify. I only date rich black guys.
Rich black guys. There we go.
In a series of tweets from Christian, posted roughly 10 years ago,
Okay, I don't care if it's 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. He had enough time to retract that. He could have apologized. He could have issued a statement way before that I'm very sorry for those tweets. I was immature. This is not the way in which I feel today. They were not retracted. They were not retweeted because he still preferred white women.
seeming disdain of black women and his preference for white women.
And that's very common with these unions. Many of these unions today are based upon self-hate. I would say the majority of them is based upon self-hate. They're not based upon love. Like, people want to sit right there and throw that stuff at you, that somehow these unions are something special, or something to look up to, or something to pedestalize. No, the vast majority of just junk today is nothing but self-hatred, just like what you see here.
One tweet read, quote, "Can't believe one of my friends thinks I talk to black girls when I don't."
Stop right there. Okay. Now, he's sitting up there insinuating that somehow he's special, that he's just some type of something in just high regards, that he's better than black girls, is pretty much what he's saying in this particular tweet.
Another tweet quoting one of his friends who said, "Black girls are born knowing how to shake they expletive." Obumseli's response, quote, "Honestly, I don't care. They not my type."
So basically, his mother, his sisters, his female relatives. So basically, he's saying that he looks upon them differently, downward, than what he does white women. And by the way, there are other tweets there where he clearly states that he wanted biracial children. A lot of these men who get into these unions want biracial children. Colorism within the black community is majority perpetrated and kept alive by usually dark-skinned black men. And these black men tend to have a fetish for biracial children.
There are tweets out there, Jessica, that suggest that Toby didn't like black women. What is your reaction? What is your response to these tweets? He was 17 years old. He was a high school kid.
That doesn't matter. This is still the way that he feels 10 years later. He still prefers white women. She's in denial because she wants her people to get to that GoFundMe page.
And I'm pretty sure that everybody who was young was just saying senseless things and not.
First of all, I never said anything like that. I would never say anything like that. The vast majority of black men do not say insensitive, rude, derogatory things about black women like that. That's a lie right there.
Of it, anything of it. I just think that his dating preference are white women.
Yes, his dating preference was white women. Thank God you admitted that. So that's his dating preference. Then as far as a GoFundMe page or whatever, let them give to it. We don't have to be involved in that. We don't have to be involved with anyone who displays self-hatred towards black people. We just wash our hands of that. It's not our problem.
Never going to say that I never knew that he tweeted those things back then, but that doesn't, mean that he should die or be murdered.
She's correct about that. It doesn't mean that he deserves to die or be murdered because he tweeted those things, but also it doesn't mean that we have to support him, that we have to give to a GoFundMe page, that we have to march and rally for someone who displays self-hatred. Because this type of a person, believe me, if they were alive today in control of a hiring situation, they would probably hire people who are not black. He said things also about black men. And God forbid if he was into some type of role of authority, where he was controlling some type of renting, giving loans or whatever, he would neglect black people because he had that type of self-hatred within him. So no, we do not have to support anyone who displays self-hatred. So in this case right here, he made his bed, he could line it alone. And the very woman that he pedestalized is the one that took his life. They were in a very toxic, violent relationship. And the girls, ironically, the black girls who he spoke about in school, who he claimed, I guess, was being boisterous or loud, but they never harmed him physically. Interestingly enough, he chose to stay with a woman who was physical with him, and he was physical with her. He chose to stay in a very violent relationship that ended up taking his life. And now he has his family who wants to sit up there with a GoFundMe page. Like, hell, if I'm going to give to that, after what you said about black women, my mother's black, my sister's black, my niece, my aunts, friends are black, and I'm supposed to have compassion on you in death. that you did not really show in life. This is why people need to be very careful about what they are spewing out. So therefore, we're going to let your preferences do that. They'll take care of you. They'll march for you. They'll chant for you. They'll cry for you. And they'll give money to you. It's not any of our business. You didn't like us while we were alive. So therefore, why should we care for you in death? That may sound cold, but we didn't do it. She did it. So let this woman right there, who let you in her house, her bed, when she was alive, let her family, her kind take care of you. And by the way, I want to show you something. He said all of these derogatory, unnecessary things, a lot of self-hatred in him about black women. But yet, he did not say anything about white women. And there is a lot that you can say about white women. Watch this.
This woman is working out on the monkey bars when an agitated mom passing by confronts her.
Everybody around here can see that you're half naked right there.
The incident happened at a playground in Las Vegas as 43-year-old Getty Kehayova practiced her hula hoop. Getty actually holds the Guinness World Record for the largest hula hoop ever spun. She was hanging upside down when her shirt slipped down, revealing her midriff and sports bra.
That is so obscene.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe you're doing this in our neighborhood park.
Things escalated when the woman snatched the hula hoop.
Hey,
Are you serious? Seriously, I can't. What? I mean, don't touch my stuff.
Now the angry woman is being dubbed a Karen. This is just the latest in a long series of incidents involving women caught on camera blowing up at others over seemingly mundane things. Who can forget this so-called Karen, who called the cops about an 8-year-old girl selling water outside her apartment?
Illegally selling water without a permit?
Then there was this Karen, lady who called police on some black guys grilling at a community park.
It's illegal to have a charcoal grill in the park here.
And most notorious of all, Central Park Karen, who made up accusations after a birdwatcher asked her to put her dog on a leash.
I'm being threatened by a man in the ramble. Please send the cops immediately.
So what about all the Karens with the type of erratic behavior? This type of craziness that goes on within white women, some of them, they're displaying that. Now, you didn't say anything about them. It's almost like white women to him are perfect. They have no fault. He put them on such a pedestal that he cannot see the shit that they spew, things that which they do. He was so entranced that even if she's a violent white female, it's okay, only because she's white. A violent white female is better than a black female who's nonviolent, who could be loud, a little boisterous. But then again, it may not even be that. Many of these men here, these black men with their self-hatred, they just need an excuse to cross over. It's almost like I'm blaming the black female as to why I'm with the white woman. I'm blaming black women as to why I want biracial children. And the reason why some of them are so hateful and angry at black women is because black women cannot reproduce the type of children in which they want. As stated before, he said he wanted biracial children. Well, he's not going to get any now. He was with this type of a white woman. He chose to be in a very volatile relationship. What were they doing? Beating each other? Hitting each other? And that was okay. Strangely enough, and it must have been okay because he chose to stay in it. So you can point out things that black women are doing who never laid hands on you, who was never violent towards you. That's all wrong. That's all such a big sin. That's enough to turn me away from them. But there's a white woman who was very volatile towards you, who was very violent towards you, in a very abusive, toxic relationship. You chose to stay in there simply and only because she is white. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. And I will see you all beyond and through.